What's going on, guys? Devin Caswell live here. Now today we're starting a new series called How to Fulfill God's Plan and Purpose on Our Life. The first thing that we're going to talk about today is destiny. Now the first step that we need to know in order to fulfill God's plan and purpose on our life is the fact that you have one. There's a verse, and it's Psalms 139, verses 13 through 14, and it says this: "For you were created in my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. Since the day before you were born, you've had a destiny. God has called you to fulfill a destiny that only you are able of fulfilling." And with God, there's only plan A. There isn't a plan B. Now, here's the thing. God's destiny in our life doesn't automatically come to pass. The biggest detriment to fulfilling God's plan and purpose on our life is the fact that we can live without it. We can exist on this planet and not fulfill God's will in our life. We can survive here and not have to worry about pursuing God's plan and purpose, God's destiny that He has for us. And there's even dedicated Christians that don't pursue God's plan and purpose on their life because they don't know they have one, or they're just blinded by it due to religion, due to their judgment, their perspective, whatever it might be. They're blinded by it. So don't let yourself be blinded by these things. God has a plan and a purpose that you are called to fulfill. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Some of you might be thinking, okay, well, I get the concept that I have a destiny, that I have a plan and a purpose, but how do I figure that out? Well, there's a verse, and it's Matthew chapter 7, verse 7 says this: "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be open to you." I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine a friend calls you up. He's like, "Hey man, I want you to chill with me. Come on over. We'll have some Cheez-Its. We'll watch a movie. We'll have some Krispy Kreme donuts. We'll have some Mountain Dew Voltage," whatever it might be. And you're like, "Cool, whatever." You climb in your car. You drive over. You walk up the driveway. You walk up to the door, and you don't knock. If you don't knock, is He going to answer you? Chances are probably not. If you want God to reveal to you what you're called to do, then you need to ask Him. If you want that door to be open, then you need to ask. You need to knock, right? So ask God, "God, what is it you call me to do? What is my plan and purpose that you want me to fulfill? What is it?" And I guarantee you, God will answer you. God answers prayers. He will answer to you. He will reveal to you what you're called to do. God's mystery is a time, and God's timing is a mystery, but it might be 2 minutes, 2 days, 2 hours, 2 weeks, 2 months, or even 2 years. But He will answer you, and when He does, you need to take action towards it. See, back to the door analogy. Say you knock on the door, your friend opens the door for you, and he invites you in. You still need to take initiative to step through that door. See, God can tell you what you're called to do. God can tell you His plan and purpose for your life. But if you don't take action towards it, it's not going to come to fruition through you. So take action. And I know that can seem a little intimidating, because sometimes what God calls us to do is huge. It's big. But to get to the top of a tall mountain, what do you have to do? You have to take a bunch of little steps to get there. We're not the Incredible Hulk. We can't just jump from the bottom of the mountain to the top, right? We got to hike it up. We got to hike up the mountain with a bunch of little steps. God's plan and purpose isn't going to come to fruition overnight. It's going to happen with a bunch of little steps to get there. So take that first step and keep going forward. All right? Don't look back. What's bigger in a car, the windshield or the little rear view mirror up here? The big windshield, right? So always look from your present and into your future. Leave the past in the past. Don't look backwards. Start stepping into what God has for you. Okay? God is going to call you to do something that's bigger than you. He's going to call you to do something that affects people for the better. He's going to call you to do something that requires you to have faith in Him. And I got a verse for you. In Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6 says this: "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight." Sometimes what God calls us to do is so big, is so huge, that we look at it and we're like, "God, how am I meant to accomplish this? How am I meant to do this? This is massive. There's no way I can accomplish this." You feel weak, you feel small, you feel incapable, but the truth is we're supposed to feel that way, because we're not meant to do it on our own. The reason it's called God's plan and purpose on my life rather than Devin's plan and purpose on my life is because it's supposed to be God working through us. We're not meant to do it on our own, so don't try to do that. Don't lean on your own understanding. Submit your ways to Him. Say, "You know what, God, my life is yours. Have your way with it. May I be a tool to help impact your kingdom. Let God be the GPS that directs you through this journey that we call life. If you do that, you'll be one step closer to fulfilling God's plan and purpose for your life.